everyone, if you've been here before, you know what we're doing next. If you're new, grab your remote. Make sure you're paused at the 0 second mark. It's always best to not be in the Netflix menu, to actually start your episode and then pause it right there at 0 second, because that means when you press unpause, it will just like press the play button. It will just start playing perfectly, and everyone's episode will be perfectly synced. So grab your remote, have your thumb on that play button, but do not press it, because we're going to do that at the same time. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Did everyone's remote work?
It did. Yes, but all I thought about was the lollipop, the how many licks to get to the center, the way he said.
I pressed play and I was like, wait, why is my volume not working? And I kind of had a freak out, and then I realized, oh yeah, I had it on mute.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
You need to stop with these weird 1, 2, 3s, man. I'm over here thinking that you said 3, but no, it was a long 3.
He wanted us to really like work for it, you know. We had to just wait with our hand perfectly on the button. Yes.
What happened?
You're making us anxious, John.
Oh, I was doing the I don't know how many folks remember, but I was doing the Tootsie Roll, Tootsie Pop.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone remembers that.
Oh my gosh, that commercial name.
Wow. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop?
Way more than 3.
2, 3.
Yeah, with the weird, like, naked, like, caveman child.
I love Teacher Richard.
Notice how they did not say baklava, but it's in subtitles.
His face is like, what the heck?
I make a really good tomato chutney that I think would be a really good potato chip.
Oh, that sounds
flavor.
good.
What kind of?
I use it. It's my fancy ketchup. I use it like in place of ketchup on a lot of things.
This is a really random question, but relevant to the fact that I'm making pasta. What kind of pasta sauce do y'all like?
Garlic and herbs.
Pesto. Pesto all the way.
I'm pretty classic marinara, man.
But if you're making gnocchi, a cheesy like red sauce is.
Oh yeah.
No, it's just angel hair pasta.
Pesto.
Just have spaghetti.
Garlic and herbs. Red sauce.
I don't eat pasta often, but when I do, I'll make OG carbonara.
That sounds good. I don't have any pasta sauce. I was just asking. I do, however, have tomato and sweet basil soup that I'm sipping on right now.
The pin.
I still feel like those first 2 episodes of this season are the weirdest of them all. And now the season just feels kind of normal.
Yeah, they found their rhythm.
Yeah, maybe they're like, oh yeah, that didn't go so well. Maybe we should rethink this.
Suki, Lorelai, and the basket are all like matching. With the orange.
Very pumpkin-y. Perfect for the September 1st episode.
Starbucks came out with their fall drinks, and I'm itching to have an apple crisp, whatever it's called.
Me too.
I love muffin tops.
Oh, I just remembered what happens in this episode. Besides yummy.
Didn't John just say, is Suki even a good cook? And then her muffin top just like falls apart on her plate.
I think this is a very well written episode. I like this episode.
Me too.
I think they stole the muffin pops
I
off
do
of
too.
Seinfeld.
I remember years ago they actually had a little cake pan that was just the muffin tops.
Sounds glorious to me. I like the muffin top the best.
Oh my gosh, when was the last time you heard about mono? Wow.
There's been other things that took the
Jamie Babbitt. She's a veteran.
Like a veteran
What?
actor or like a veteran?
Who are you talking
The
about?
director, like veteran director. The director of the series of this episode. Just she was directing episodes of the show when I first started in season 3, and she's a really good director.
Ah, okay. Again, I wish he was her brother. Oh my god.
Aw, poor little.
I think that would be perfect.
Their dynamic is so
Yeah,
good.
good brother
I just don't want them to date ever. But like, be so.
With the way that the Yale with the way that society life works, they might be distant cousins.
Oh.
Does
That's
that
so
make
funny
you feel
that, like,
better, Lily?
Yeah,
that-
just didn't go for it.
Don't say that.
That really was dated. He said a flat screen, and Suki was like, "What? Like what?
A flat screen. What?
It's like, I doubt anybody in the world right now wouldn't know.
Suki's
What a flat
oddly
screen is.
emotional.
Hey, can somebody timestamp?
6:48:51.
6:51 for me.
Oh, also, this is what I was this episode is what I was referencing before about the now I can't think of the words, but I mentioned it a few episodes.
Oh, I remember.
Chris is gonna enjoy that cock.
Be better.
Foreshadowing, that's the word.
Thank you,
Some
Shanna.
Scotty P coffee there for him.
Yeah, but he pushes it away. I mean, it's weird.
Because you're not drinking it.
Because he's a baby.
It is literally a cup
Also,
of coffee.
we just have a water bottle that Dean used to refill, and I think we've never seen that before, or maybe I just have never seen it.
Is he
He's
really
so
not going to
cute.
drink that coffee?
Yeah, he's so
Yeah, he
cute, like a
pushed it
foreign
away.
bottle.
It's not like Lorelai went out and brought it in for him. Suki
She
brought it
said,
in.
in fact, Suki.
I mean, now after seeing that, I'm starting to rethink my position yesterday on whether or not there was any real possible way for Lorelai to break what she, to tell Luke what or Christopher what she was doing for Luke and him be cool with it.
I'm loving these monochromatic, like total brown looks on Rory, and that hair was fabulous.
She's in orange again.
Very bright colors this season. Her scarves are just so fun. That's where I get that phrase from.
What phrase?
Sit on some baby. I say it like jokingly, but I never understood where.
What does it mean? What does it mean again?
She's babysitting, so she says, "I'm
sit
gonna
on
go
some
sit on
babies.
some baby,"
Got it.
which I will be doing for Saturday or
And
I
I
would
came
also
back
kind
on.
of laugh if some guy with short hair using my conditioner for my humongous amount of hair.
My power just went out and came back on.
Ooh.
That was weird and a little scary.
I love how she called that thing a jumbotron.
Isn't that the dude who was the professor?
Yes.
Yeah, that's George Bell.
Oh my God, that was
He's been
George
in
Bell?
multiple positions or characters.
Also, to note that this, like, we don't really often see like firefighters or policemen, but the 2 times we have seen them have been like black men, which I think is really cool and interesting.
But they keep recycling George.
Well, you know, he's getting.
He's there.
They could have hired another black fellow to do it.
Or just pay the person that they already had on.
That's true.
This does not look like it's going to work out well for him.
Have some faith, John.
John, did we actually end up agreeing to a kernel bet to whether Luke gets his way or not? I can't remember.
We did.
Sure.
The only thing we agreed to was is that I probably have to send Hannah some kernels at some point here pretty soon. 100 kernels.
God damn it.
I like.
I can
Joanne
wait till the end
better
of the
as
season.
Jess's dad's girlfriend.
I love how the community who's already seen the show has somehow figured out ways to like get me to bet on things that they know I'm going to get wrong.
No, to be
It's fun
fair, I
that
do
way.
think that would be an interesting bet whether Luke's going to get his way in a case or not. That's a very interesting black and white yes or no.
Yep. But it's so much more fun.
For a judge.
The first night I was here, I was offered kernels by you, John, but I didn't have an account yet, and I'm still trying to find a way to get those kernels that I never got.
You need to have
Bro,
a
he's
request
kind of
feature
rich
for
though, so
kernels.
shut.
Sorry, both headphones just went on. This is. Whoa.
Uh-huh.
Basura, bitch.
He needs to stop talking.
Yeah, you can't talk without your lawyer present, bro.
I just want to knock her out.
It doesn't feel like she really knows him. Like it's not.
That is so weird that they used George Bell again for this.
I never noticed that.
That is so that the scene was upsetting.
Weird.
It was
Very.
upsetting.
Yeah.
Anna is upsetting.
I actually hope that he gets it now. I mean, I always hope that he got it, but now I'm like really thinking that maybe the writing will give it to us because she's so sure that he's not going to get it.
This is one of my favorite Paris moments. She is my spirit animal right there with all those bored.
This was me at Tufts.
This is
I had
as
I
my
didn't have
kid-
whiteboards, but I had a binder.
Oh no, I can't.
Oh my god, that reminds me of
those
that one
all
joke
those
from Arrested
boxes.
Development.
Wait, what, Joe?
So in the first episode of Arrested Development, one of the sons, Buster, he took like this oceanography class or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I'm reading maps. And then like he said the blue part was land. But obviously like blue is water on maps.
Yeah.
So that's
Buster
what
is an idiot.
Leave Buster alone. I love Buster.
Buster is forky. But he's forky.
I didn't realize that it was snowing.
It's January.
Wasn't the Christmas episode last night?
Yeah,
And
but
the
it was
day
after
before.
the New Year.
And the one before that.
Oh, Davy's so big.
I think they made
Isn't that
Davy
like
a
the
little too
Blues
old.
Clues dude shirt?
Please.
Davy would be in college now.
Don't
You
say
put that
that.
evil on us.
What?
It's a big sweater.
Guys.
Did you say timestamp, Tasha?
Yes, my thing froze.
Okay, I'm at like 14:58. I don't know if that's
I'm at 15:18.
I'm at
15,
15:15.
15:16.
So the 15:15 to 15:20.
Okay. Stupid power.
Suki's going back and forth and change.
Okay, cool. So I haven't really missed anything.
Oh,
And yes, that does look like Steve from Blue's Clues.
oh,
This is more like a rugby shirt, though.
Sherry, this episode. I am having repressed memories come back.
I feel like the promo for this episode gave away way too much.
I love
One
the
more time,
fuzzy
timestamp.
stuff.
16:20.
Okay. Thank you.
Scene end.
He is how I'm gonna be leaving for FanFest.
That's so cute because you can totally imagine like a young 16, 17-year-old Lorelai doing that with Rory.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I always love that scene in terms of like Lorelai's parenting and stuff. I know it may be critical of her a lot of the time, but she definitely has her good moments, and that was one of them.
Bro, he was like such a large guy.
I love Rory and Richard scenes. They're my.
same.
They're just so pure.
Yeah, he was a presence.
I find it weird that she was like, my friend, my roommate Paris. Oh, I know Paris.
Right, but he's known her since she went to
It feels like
Chilton.
that would be like, that it feels like he wouldn't say it like that.
I think it was okay.
Did the eyebrows get thinner or is it just me?
Who?
I was just noticing that too.
Rory. I was
I don't
wondering that last episode. I was like, maybe they've always been thin, like Mandela effect style, but like,
Wasn't this the year
I
that
don't
thin
know.
eyebrows were in?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, she's
I
always
think
had
that
thin
I-
eyebrows though. So
I think the whole like late 90s and early 2000s were very. It's only been in the last couple years that eyebrows have gotten very bushy and caterpillary.
I love how he's like your only friend.
There's a flyer about the war on terrorism behind Rory.
oh wow, that's wow. Richard, okay.
I love Richard. I love him.
I love that scene.
Oh, Edward Herman, how we wish you were still with us.
Well, his nails are painted.
How did you even notice?
Kill.
What?
Did you see this coming, John?
I made a very big mental note of that scene in the hospital when she ordered him to go get a vasectomy. That, John, you were like, oh, that's just a throwaway joke they used for cheap giggles.
Not so much anymore.
Sure.
Definitely no storyline going to come out of that.
Nope. None at all.
I'm assuming from your reaction, John, you did not see this coming.
Did not see this coming, no.
I would like to slap Jackson because that's like totally not at all okay.
Oh yeah, it's
I don't
big
care.
Creepy.
He
needs
a good
how they both
loss of
was very inappropriate.
You can't just
I
you
feel
can't
like
just not consensually impregnate someone either.
I feel like that whole vasectomy thing was so ridiculous that it had to have
You're
been
gonna have that
a
taken care
recurring
of.
discussion, and it must have been a recurring discussion in the
Look at that
writers' room.
scary
Why
baby
did he
photo.
do
Oh
that?
my-
That was so silly.
Well-
why did we have him get a
Well, she was
vasectomy?
actually pregnant this season, so in real life, so this is the only time she was actually pregnant. So maybe they wrote it in on purpose.
They
I've
had
seen
to
it
have
in
written
another
it
show
in
too, but
because-
I can't think of which show it was. But it was the exact same situation.
All right, this is do or die.
This is a double headphone moment.
Second headphones going on, guys. I'll be back in a
Enjoy. I've always been like in love with I'm not sure if she's a judge or just a court worker. I don't know what the correct terminology is, but she's just gorgeous and I'm in love with her.
She actually
Mediator.
did. There was a soccer movie that Scott did at the same time, and she's one of the teachers in the movie.
Oh, amazing.
Just what was the name of the movie? Jess, the soccer movie. You have the cassette the movie for?
I think Jess is Focus.
I think.
Yeah, sorry, I went second headphone too because I couldn't hear over everybody.
What's the name of?
All right, I
what's the
just
name
got
of that
I just
movie
got out of that.
Scott
That
did?
was pretty cool.
The soccer movie.
I'm feeling good about. I'm starting to feel better about the court case.
I mean, Suki was wrong for trying to force him, and Jackson was wrong for not telling her he didn't do it.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, these are actually both sexually coercive things to do, and it's problematic.
Yes, very much.
in a way, though, I find that Suki's situation is much worse because he's a human.
Well, yeah. But yeah.
They're both bad, though. They're both bad, though. For sure.
That's a lot of diapers a day.
Yeah, for how old she is. Newborns go through a lot, but not when you're like a year old.
I was thinking like 4 or 5 a day, maybe at one.
What is up with the writers just constantly just having babies?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I think with her,
The spring when they wrote it, I don't know.
In real life, they had no choice but to put it in.
Maybe the Christian organization that paid for the pilot has a say.
Mm-hmm.
They want the babies.
That's
so
true,
feel
because
her.
like Lane,
Liz.
Chris really
Liz,
wanted Lorelai to have a baby too.
Sherry.
Lane, Liz, Lorelai, and Christopher are talking about it. I mean, it's just all over the place.
Has there been a season where no one got pregnant?
season 1,
Well,
maybe season 2.
That was about Lorelai's previous pregnancy.
True. I don't think anyone got pregnant in season 2, and oh no, Sherry got pregnant like
Wait, when was
last episode?
When was
right?
the flashback episode?
Season 3.
Season 3?
That's when Sherry
Yeah.
had Gigi.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of babies being made in real life all
Yes.
the time. So maybe it's just
True.
very realistic.
Lorelai
It is
finds out she hooks up with Christopher at this. It was the season 2 finale.
Yeah, that's what I
So
was
it wasn't until till season 3 that Sherry actually had.
right.
She got over that really quickly.
Hormone.
Like 30 seconds.
The miniature
Does Paris have a
whiteboard.
bump it? Does Paris have a bump it in?
I
No,
don't
it's
think-
too flat.
A bump?
Looks a little. That looks a little bumpy.
It's braid. No, it's
Oh,
either
the
braided
hair.
or
I thought you said
teased.
does
Definitely not
Paris
a
have
bump.
a bump?
It's very
A
flat.
bump it. A bump it.
I was
It's
like,
a
my
thing that you
God.
put inside your hair.
Yeah,
no,
I don't
it's
think
too
so.
flat to have a bump.
It's like braided, so it's like braided and
Probably
pushed up
teased.
or teased.
I like both of them with the long, pretty curly hair.
Me too.
This is like when they were in high school and Paris made her Paris was doing all the stuff and Rory did it too.
You know,
No,
the
I
last time
really-
she, the last time she
Okay.
wore that shirt was season 5, and she called Logan a butt-faced miscreant.
I was
You know what
thinking
would
she
be
had
kind
worn
of
that
fun
shirt.
to do? You know what would be fun to do is to get like a really big Paris episode from early in the series and one from late in the series and just see what they look like. Like
The speech one for the TV, definitely. Like the early season one.
I'm guessing the one where, no.
Rory's like, shut up.
Oh, Paris.
I love Paris so much.
This.
Oh, Paris. Paris is Team Rory.
Yes, she is.
So proud.
She may be very aggressive and not be great at social cues, but she's a great friend.
Christian Ritter looks like really adorable in that outfit.
She does. The miniature whiteboards crack me. I'm going.
We're close, aren't we?
We got like 11 minutes left.
The picture
Okay.
above the
No,
phone is now a mirror.
No, that's not what I meant. I know we have 11 minutes left, but
Yeah,
we're
that's
close.
Yes.
where the mirror
Okay.
is. That changes a lot.
I know, I've been noticing that lately.
All right, let's do or die, people.
Double headphones.
John, you may want to do both headphones.
Headphones going on. I'll be back in a sec.
Enjoy.
I'm gonna do the same.
Oh, stop it. He's gonna get it. She's gonna give it to him. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good about it. Everyone, I'm feeling good about it.
Just
The pure
watch.
glee in your voice, John.
Oh God.
Ruh-roh.
Here it is.
Oh.
God, he's such a
That's just
nice
weird that
fucker.
he pulls it out though. That's just like
That's just
weird.
snooping.
All right, headphones on. Be back.
Yee.
My favorite parts.
Oh yes, some strings coming in.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
One of my favorite moments.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Get over it, Chris. You're
He is in your life forever.
Here, here.
This woman's voice is so soothing.
Absolutely agree.
Look at his face.
Oh,
Oh my
I know.
goodness.
So
this
sweet.
man is
My
oh, get off my screen, Chris, right now.
Oh,
Stop with the Chris Beth.
And now I'm
I
crying.
feel John.
I'm gonna keep the
Fucking
headphones on a little longer, everyone.
Oh, I would.
If you don't mind.
Go ahead. Go.
Oh yeah, we'll be silent.
Nobody
Oh,
cares
calm
about
down.
you, Chris. Go away.
I mean, nothing she said was wrong. And if he's jealous that Luke was like a father figure, that's Chris's fault for not
Just wait.
having the.
Right?
That
And
TV would be like $100 now, and back then it was probably 1,500.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
saying earlier. It's hilarious that she called that thing a jumbotron, seeing how we're looking at this anachronistically now with what we know about the TVs.
Yeah, it's smaller than my current.
Yeah, the one I'm watching on right now was a 50. That's tiny.
Oh, God. Quit skulking. What an ass.
That's a good line, though.
I'm not a Chris apologist, but like I do get why reading that her ex will forever be in her life is upsetting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's also her friend, regardless if he's an ex, regardless if they're not talking right now, like he's always gonna be there. Chris can't think that he's just gonna just go away.
Oh my goodness.
She never said
Because she knew how you'd react.
She never said that.
No.
She was hiding it.
Yeah, she was.
She saw how you reacted over a cup of fucking coffee, man.
Yep.
She hid it long before that.
Oh yeah, but like she knew what he would be like.
Bro, you're like the 5th choice. Don't flatter.
I don't think he hit it.
Yeah.
He had to have known what he was getting himself into.
She's just like not supposed to see her ex, but like.
Hey everybody,
he can
I'm back.
see-
Hi, John.
Hi,
Hello,
Chris
John.
is trash, isn't he? Yes, he is.
How'd it go?
Hi,
I
John.
can't believe that you guys were you even had any desire to talk during that incredible scene.
Thank
I do.
you. We've all seen it like a million times.
I know,
Yeah.
we're so kind, aren't we?
To be fair,
Oh
we were
my goodness,
quieter
that
than we
scene was-
usually are.
Paris'
That
hair,
scene
oh my
was-
gosh.
Intense. That was an
Whoa.
intense scene.
It
Segue
is
though, I
top
love
tier
Rory's
She looks-
sweater right now.
Paris looks awesome.
Oh yes. 2007 fashion got a little better.
I mean, her hair, like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
I
the letter
really miss
reading.
those micro cord pants. I don't even know if you can find those anymore. Those were my favorite.
I had a pair of maternity ones that I wore even after I had the baby because they were so comfortable.
I actually think I have a pair of pants that look almost exactly like that on right now.
The letter reading directly into the scene with Chris is definitely one of the best moments in the show.
It is
like for all,
so
yeah.
good. It's like it'll definitely. This episode is one of my favorites.
Yep,
So
same.
far in the
Same.
whole series. That back and forth
In
between
the whole series or just this
yes
season?
Yeah.
Yep.
in the
series.
series.
Really?
In the series,
Something-
I loved that back and forth between the reading of the letter. Oh my gosh, that was incredible.
It was delicious.
Something
Oh, it was so good.
interesting with the duality of that letter saying how much of a father figure Luke has been towards Rory, and then Rory, I don't know if I've ever seen this coat, wears a jacket that looks really close to Luke's like green every day, like windbreaker thing. I'm probably reading into that, but like
It was too bulky to be that.
She's
It
worn
looked
it.
more like a winter coat.
has she?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
He won.
Yes.
Wait.
Just had to tell you. Oh yes.
Yeah.
The look on her face is pain.
He won.
Oh man, and just this juxtaposition between his like elation and her like complete sorrow, and how they're connected because of the letter.
John.
It's
John.
just-
Oh my god! Oh my god!
You may want
Put
to
in your earphones, John.
just
I love how excited he is.
This position suits him.
Oh no.
Oh.
Woohoo!
Whoa!
Can we go
Oh
straight
my
to the next episode, guys?
goodness.
for real. Can we just keep going?
Let's just
Like,
do it. Let's do it.
Oh.
Next episode.
No, we can't. We'll
Let's
mess it.
bully John.
No,
Guys, just
Next
we can't because
episode,
we've got
guys.
no, because
Can't stop us.
we've got a tight schedule. We've got some guests coming up, and that will mess up
You
our.
can't
and I need
stop
my night,
us.
guys.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
So I have one thing to say, and then I'll shut up for the rest of the night while you're pulling people up onto the couch.
Mhm.
So my thought on the whole foreshadowing thing. You remember a couple episodes ago when Lorelai went over to Chris's for the first time, and Chris showed Lorelai the letter from Sherry, and Lorelai said, "Well, thank you for telling me now instead of me finding it." Oh, Christopher, I'm sorry.
Oh
Chris.
my gosh.
She said, "Well, thank you for showing me now instead of me finding it later and being all upset and mad at you about it and wondering why you didn't show me." That's what I was talking about, was foreshadowing for
Yep.
this episode specifically.
Yep. Whew.
Open
like
up that
good-
couch, man.
I
Let's
like
get it
some
going.
good foreshadowing. This episode was.
So good.
It was a
It's
good.
an
It was a
excellent
good
episode.
episode. This episode hurt so good. Ready? Couch is open. Join us, please. Come on up, Mary. Come on up and share some ketchup Cheetos with me, Mary.
I am
Did
so
you get
glad
through the
you're
bag
enjoying
yet,
that.
John?
Hello.
If you're gonna talk
Okay.
negatively about Christopher, please use the name Christopher so I don't feel dragged to the mud.
We love you, Chris.
Well, that's
But
the same
John-
when they say Sherry, I think they say me, and I'm like, wait, what did I do now?
If
Yes,
you're
Sherry,
raising your hand,
you're crazy.
if you're
We
currently
don't want-
raising your hand to come up on the couch for post-show discussion, I do not see it because of Clubhouse, and that means you have to remove your hand raise and try it again. And just keep doing it until I can see you, unless you're not. In which case,
I need
that's
to
cool too.
clarify something with you, John, that you said.
Hmm.
Or I guess Regina messaged me about it because I guess I didn't hear you, but is this your favorite episode of season 7 or of the series?
This I said this is one of. I mean, it's not my favorite, but
Mhm.
one of my favorite episodes of the series.
Oh,
One of
okay.
my
interesting.
I'm just going to go out there and say it. I'm pretty convinced that if I come back to this episode multiple times, that I'm going to remember it.
Oh, yeah.
There's an episode
there's-
coming up I think you're gonna love even more.
Tomorrow
Like,
night's episode
there are
is my
some
favorite
things in this
episode. of the
episode.
season.
There's some things in this episode, just like from a writing storytelling that just hooked me in, just pulled me in. All that stuff with Luke and the court case, just the dialogue was so good. And then just that letter reading scene is just, I think it's one of the best scenes in the entire series.
I agree.
100%.
It's so poignant. And when you said it hurts so good, like, oh yeah, it's just so brilliant. I mean, we don't want it, but oh, we do. Oh,
It really hurts so good. It's a really painful episode, but just so, and you know, you like, just your emotions go up and down, you know, like from like, yes, he won it, he won the case, to like, oh no,
Richard is
Lorelai, like,
on the floor.
What's up?
I mean,
You
it
go
was
from
first
hey, he won to Richard's on the floor as well.
Yeah, and then Richard's on the floor, and just like, I mean, it's just yeah, that was good.
There's two highs and two lows in this episode. Pregnancy, winning, breaking, or looks like breaking up.
Yeah, God, and the pregnancy. I mean, that whole thing was just ridiculous.
But the thing is, we don't know if
Nice.
she's pregnant.
Well, yeah, but Jackson is pretty.
I'm glad that they made. I'm glad that they made sense of and returned to that absolutely ridiculous comic, like, bit of shtick that they did with like the huge like
nurse.
orderly nurse like taking him to get his vasectomy, which was just nothing but shtick.
They should have
nothing
written
but-
it different though. They should have been like, yeah, we reversed it because we decided to have another kid, not a he like non-consensually impregnated me, and now I'm like
Not
freaking out.
even
They could
that.
have written that.
Not all
differently.
vasectomies stick. Sometimes
Yeah.
they
Yeah, not
yeah.
all.
Like vasectomies.
Yeah, they
Not
could have
all
done
stick.
that.
Could have
Like,
definitely
they
made
made it real.
something out of that.
So wait, what's talk to me what's the issue? What's the issue? I could kind of
Because
half
she
hear it,
didn't-
but I was
She didn't want to be pregnant, and that's why she wanted him to get a vasectomy. While it was wrong for her to try and force it on him, he didn't tell her, and so now she is pregnant against her will because she didn't want another kid. And so
Right.
it's
But in his
kind of like
defense,
that's, you know,
he thought she was staying on the pill, and she stopped the pill without discussing it. So it's not like he was trying to trick her into a pregnancy on purpose.
Yeah, she just
Like,
said
it
it
wasn't
thinking
his
about
fault.
You guys, Hunter's flashing down at the bottom. She's a fat flashing.
I also saw.
oh, Hunter.
It is.
Oh, and Sabrina.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I love this episode, like you said, John, but this storyline just quite frankly pisses me off because that's an assault. It is. It's just like having sex without a condom and not telling someone.
Yeah.
Like every time they're intimate, without her knowing, she could have gotten pregnant. That's not consent. That's awful.
I agree.
And half of this, and between this and the Lane being pregnant, like after the bad sex the one time and hating it, like I do not like the way they're treating the besties this season with getting pregnant. It's, I hate it.
Who says that she's
in
pregnant?
general, that's why I said it was like, why just everyone getting pregnant?
And not in a joyful way.
Yeah, it's just feels violating. It's
like
off.
They're communicating it as punishment in some way, and there's
Right.
no way out.
Yeah.
Which is which is really kind of unfortunate because in the early seasons of the series, it was this joyous thing, you know, and then it just suddenly like started to just take a nosedive as you get deeper and deeper into the series, like with Suki like begging him to or not begging him, demanding him to get a vasectomy. Like it just all of it just starts to take this really weird turn at some point. Yeah, I mean, I was just asking because I feel like I was like that whole sequence. Like I feel like I wasn't completely paying attention, and then I just heard like a bunch of commotion, and I wasn't really totally sure exactly what I was supposed to be commoting about. But yeah, that makes sense.
Zach has been flashing.
Zach.
No, I think Hunter and everyone else bring up a good point. It's definitely assault, just like attempting to force someone to get access to me against their will. As I feel myself getting like polarized and actually, you know, getting upset about, you know, the particular perspectives, because I think both sides are wrong. You know, like Hunter said, every time he knew that he was doing this, I mean, he was putting her at risk. She shouldn't have taken the approach they have. I'm kind of telling myself it's the writers, you know, and it's just maybe not like the best writing at this point. Nothing against the writers in general, but I definitely think there's some different approaches that they could have said, like, you know, like, oh, like, hey, the vasectomy didn't stay.
What's the problem that we have? What's the problem that we have with Suki? I'm sorry. I'm trying to get caught up to speed. What is the problem that we have
about forcing him to get a vasectomy?
Oh, she told me he had to get a vasectomy even though he didn't want one, and it was because remember he wanted to have 4 and 4 the kids, and she decided after the second one she didn't want to anymore. But she told him you need to get a vasectomy, and
my biggest
he didn't want it.
My biggest problem with that whole thing wasn't necessarily the fact that she forced him to get a vasectomy. It was just the way that it was presented it was just ridiculous, because I just can't imagine how it would ever go down like that. And the idea that he wouldn't have some agency in the matter also seems a little ridiculous. Like, you know, I do sort of see them as very different. The idea that like he would be doing something that she just doesn't know about versus her saying to him, you need to get a vasectomy, and him being like, okay, and like walking off with some, you know, big, huge nurse.
Well, he obviously didn't though.
But he didn't. But that's the reason why I say like that whole storyline feels like it feels like they were just trying to deal with something like you know, because that vasectomy was really weird when it came up. I remember feeling like that was a really sort of odd storyline, and then they brought it back up again. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, so what did go down? He walked out of the room with the huge nurse, and did he just start running? Like, you know, like what happened? Like, did he go into the room and be like, hey, I really don't want this, don't give it to me? Like, you know, it makes you ask more questions. It's sort of like how I feel, Hunter, when we find out about Arya and her masks.
I think that
that was only for Hunter.
Oh my gosh, I just got it.
You know, you just start asking all kinds of questions like, oh wait, if it's a mask, then does she shrink when like she puts them on? You know, like
that's good.
But yeah, anytime that a show does something like that, like adds some weird little thing in there that has me like suddenly like revisiting everything that I've seen before, or something I've seen before, asking questions, you know that there's something a little weird about it.
Tasha
splashing.
Thank you. So I've never been pregnant, obviously. Have I had my scares? Yes. So obviously I don't have quite a big of a leg up at all on like pregnancy and like vasectomies, obviously, but I do have my opinion. I don't think like that. I mean, they're both to blame in one way or another. Suki's to blame for, I wouldn't say forcing Jackson to get a vasectomy. She said that she wants him to get a vasectomy. Obviously, Jackson has his own agency and he can do whatever the hell he wants. But also on the flip side, if Suki is pregnant, because we really don't know, they're all just assuming just based on what happened. So we don't really know. But Jackson not telling Suki that he didn't get one, and then like say if she is pregnant, like someone said before, like that's not cool. Like, yeah, like a guy like getting a vasectomy, that kind of like lowers their like ego and like it hurts them and stuff like that. But like getting pregnant, that's like 9 months that a woman has to be pregnant, obviously, and like you can't reverse it. You can't reverse like something like that. And I don't know.
Can you refresh me? I feel really bad because that part, that I don't know what was going on. Maybe I was like really focused on the ketchup Cheetos or something like that. But refresh me. What was his reason? Like what reason did he have? Was he just kind of like, I just didn't really want to, or was it?
I think like he didn't want to. Yeah, he didn't want to, and he didn't probably have the guts to, because as much as Jackson's a man and Jackson does things his way, he's also a bit soft when it comes to Suki. Like he doesn't want to hurt her, and he doesn't want to hurt her feelings and like start an argument. And so he just probably didn't have the guts to tell her that he didn't want one. Granted, his execution was horrible.
In a hospital.
Yes, I'm not saying that what Suki did was right in her manner either. Like I said, both of them are to blame if Suki is pregnant, because like I said, we don't know that. I don't know. I just like, that's my whole thought. But I'm really wanting to talk about
well,
Chris,
hold on. Before you do, we're still not there. We're still here. We're still
No, I know.
We're still in this
No, I know,
discussion.
but
Was
Chris, did
Sabrina
you-
flashing earlier?
Sabrina.
I was just going to say that I find both of their behaviors to be equally problematic, although I would say that what happened to Suki has much more serious ramifications and is not, well, it is reversible, but not in the way that a vasectomy is.
Nope.
But I just want to acknowledge that this is not the right thing to do for either of them. And my fast talk concept will be, should Suki and Jackson get divorced?
Ooh,
no.
Well, I can't wait. I'll be there.
No,
I'll be
no,
there.
no.
I do think that there's a big gulf of difference between like her demanding that he get a vasectomy and him then agreeing to get one, right? Like that there's a big difference between that and just not even giving the person any because even though it's being demanded of him, he still has a choice. He could be like, no, and we're getting a divorce. If that's how you feel about it, right? Like she didn't have that choice. If he's like, I'm gonna have sex with you, and I'm not getting a vasectomy, she could be like, well, then you're not having sex with me, and we're getting a divorce. But she didn't have that choice.
Divorced because of that.
But I'm just saying, he does technically have a choice. He's the one who chooses to walk out the door with that big nurse, and she doesn't have a choice at all. So they're both problematic, but one of them I think is like so clearly not right. Now, I will say I don't recognize what he did as like I see it more, I just see it more as cowardice, I mean, I like, to Mary's point, I don't think that he wanted to get her pregnant. I think that in his mind he thought that they were safe. I think he's just really afraid to tell her that he didn't do that thing. And that's certainly no excuse, but I also think that's a little different than the having sex and like, and not, not letting your partner know, like what you said earlier, Hunter, about just like deliberately not just because you just don't care.
But he did deliberately not tell her, and that is illegally assault. So,
Charlie's been flashing.
Yes. So my thought on this is, yes, he did have a choice, which she agrees to when she's walking with Lorelai, because she's like, if he didn't want to get it, he should have told her, and she would have understood. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely.
Which she would have known had she actually taken the time to have the conversation,
right?
Rather than just springing it on him.
There was a newborn.
She had mom brain.
So.
Yeah, but he definitely 100% had a choice. He was not there was not like he wasn't being held at gunpoint. He had a choice. He didn't want to upset his wife or whatever the case may be, but he could have said no, and if that means that we're getting a divorce, then so be it. And he didn't do that, and that's different from just deliberately not telling somebody something like that.
I agree they're different, but I also think that there's no excuse to not have a conversation for either of those situations. They both should have, it's not an excuse that she just had a baby. Still stop and talk to him about it before you force him out of the room, and stop and talk to her about it if you don't want it. Just talk to each other.
Yep.
2 minutes to harvest.
He could have told her. He could have told her after, she had been home from the hospital for a couple weeks. So he had that option as well, to let her know, hey, I just didn't go through with it.
Yeah, because you can't have sex for like what, 4 to 6 weeks after you have a bed.
Yeah, so
exactly. So it's not like they would have had sex in that time.
Well,
I mean, you can. It's just not.
Doesn't mean people don't.
Who said
well?
You definitely can.
We don't.
I feel like a mom after 4 to 6 weeks is not gonna be. It's not gonna be a well. She's gonna be like, You see this human?
Well, in John's defense, he's like, well, so that's his defense.
I don't think that was John that said well. I think that was somebody else.
I thought
Who was it then?
That was
Oh,
Zach.
well, it's not recommended.
That sounds horrifying.
So I think that we're all pretty much in agreement that the storyline is problematic. How about we? I think that we could probably leave it at that.
Yes, and we don't know if she's actually pregnant, so we might be having this whole conversation for nothing.
Yeah, and I do think that it's true. People have babies all the time, and so it is realistic for them to have brought it in. But they sure do bring a lot of it in this season, and that the fact that they all kind of come with a bit of a, or at least Lane's and Suki's kind of come with a bit of a problem is just a little weird, and that is definitely something that I noticed. But I feel like that has been a trend since the first big childbirth, which was the first time that Suki,
I think
back in season 3. I thought that was so great, you know, like end of the Festival of Living Art, like, you know, just the whole, that it was just really joyous, that everything was just like really wonderful. And then like the second time was like, you know, like walking out of the house, getting into the car, just everything about it was just like a lot more like, you know, like tiresome and uncomfortable and a burden. And then I'm not having another one, get a vasectomy. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Feels like
every
a-
pregnancy in the show, but Suki's first pregnancy was not planned or not wanted, or just, there was never. I think that was the one pregnancy in a show about a lot of pregnancies where they were happy and it was planned. That's the only one.
No. Both Suki's pregnancies were happy. They were trying for both of them, and they were happy about both of them.
Right.
But
All
every
of them?
other one was
After
Martha
Liz
first.
after Liz
Baby
let
was the
PJ come back, that one wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
It was
I think
funny.
Suki just realized that she probably didn't want to have another one after she had the second one. Not that it was an unhappy situation or an accident or anything. I think she just going through it again and already having one child and bringing in a second one on board. She realized that maybe 3 or 4 would be too much for her personally.
During
And
Tipping
that's
Canoe,
what I
she
got out
said
of
they
it.
were trying for the second.
But even
Guys,
at the
don't
very
forget to
beginning,
harvest.
when we find out that like when Jackson finds out that she's pregnant and he's like, you know, suddenly like counting their budget and figuring out all that kind of stuff. It was back then that we discovered that he wants a lot of kids. And even back then she seemed a little like, I don't know.
Well, we saw that at the
It
dance
was the marathon
episode.
dance.
Yeah,
the marathon
where
dance.
she's like 4 and 4 is crazy, and 4 years without a cocktail.
And Jackson got mad at Lorelai for interfering with their baby discussion.
And then also, you know, this season with like all of the like, you know, the baby discussion with Lorelai and Chris and whatnot, just that all of that is a little bit sad. And then, I mean, this episode was really great in that it was finally felt like there was some like parenting, like something to rejoice about with, you know, with April and Luke. But I mean, even that was just like, oh my gosh, like now he's losing his kid. Like, oh.
Do you want to talk
Like-
about the Luke
Yeah,
storyline
should we
now?
talk about
Yes, please.
Hold on, before we
Dying
move
to share
on,
my
I
thoughts.
saw Carl flashing earlier. I don't know if he has any insight to add onto what we just talked about before we move.
Carl, do you have any thoughts?
Oh, hold up. Let me just, hear
He's
yourself.
got to get his kernels ready.
Oh God.
Basically, okay, so first question for the room.
With Mike
y'all,
flashes?
Mike flashes. Did y'all think of this storyline as, did you think it was comedic effect if you did flash your mics?
Which storyline?
Suki and Jackson, the one that we're talking about.
Wait, can you re-say that question? I missed
You
the
mean
beginning.
you mean when she told him to get a vasectomy, or in this season, this part of the storyline?
This season, this part of the story, yeah. This part of the story of the storyline. Sorry. For this episode, did you think that the storyline with Suki and Jackson was for comedic effect? Flash your mics if you did. And thank you. And flash your mics if you didn't think that it was for comedic effect.
Is there an in between?
And
I have a question. Do you mean
that
yeah?
that doesn't mean, Carl, that doesn't, does that mean that we think that it's funny, or that we think the writers were going for comedic?
For funny. They were going for funny. I'm not saying that you thought it was funny.
Writers were going for funny. Like, I don't particularly find it funny, but I believe that they were going for funny.
Yeah, because I mean, when I first watched it, I thought that it was for comedic effect because, well, it's Suki and Jackson, and whenever there's a storyline with Suki and Jackson, it's mostly for comedic effect. And, well, I mean, that's what I've gotten. That's my assessment with it. Got it for the first 6 seasons. So, like, I was like, okay, so then this is comedy? But I just think with that storyline, it would have been a lot funnier if the vasectomy just failed. Like, Jackson actually got it. They expected it to work. You know, that's why Suki stopped taking the pills. You know, there was trust with each other. They understood, and it just failed. That would have been like, oh my God, it's a misstep. And then we were like, okay.
But the problem with that storyline is then Jackson wouldn't think that Suki was pregnant. Like, I think the reason they wrote it the way they wrote it is that Jackson has had his suspicions and was planning the ski day to tell her. But if he didn't know that his vasectomy failed, like if he had the vasectomy and didn't know it failed, why would he have his suspicion?
Right.
A drink.
Maybe they could have still written that and then like, oh no, you're pregnant. You know what I mean? It still would have worked without this aspect of it. It's just, I definitely think they were going for comedic effect. It just didn't work.
It didn't work.
And it's certainly way, if it was funny to anyone back in 2007 or 6 or whenever this was, it certainly has lost a lot of its comedic effect over the years. But my gut tells me that's what they were going for.
I feel like
it's not
they
very
were
funny.
scrambling to find a way to write Melissa McCarthy's pregnancy into the show, and that was the best way they could come up with.
Well, I don't know if it's the best way. I mean, they certainly could have. They could have had the failed vasectomy storyline. They could have done a variety of things. They chose this one because I think that the writers believed that this would be considered funny.
I think it would have been funnier personally if it had failed, because we could just say, you know, he's a farmer. He's just too good at sewing. You know,
thank you.
Yes.
See,
I feel
the
like
comedy.
Suki and Jackson, like you could definitely scrounge up some like over dramatic reactions for comedic effect with them. I mean, we've seen it before. We could have seen it again, right? So
yeah,
it definitely
could have.
Possible.
Yeah, certainly they could have come up with something funnier than this. But I do think that they thought that this was funny. Should we move on to
Luke?
Yes.
Luke?
Yeah, that was all I had. Thank you.
Just because I know that we're gonna have a great deal to talk about when we get to Christopher and Lorelai. We don't want to say Chris, especially tonight, because we know that our Chris here.
I don't want to feel like I have to defend him just because my name's being taken negatively.
That darn Chris, man. That darn Chris.
Can I start with my thoughts?
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually,
cool. So we're just solely basing this on the court hearing, or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah, and I would also put in that little scene between Luke and Anna outside the courtroom, and
I'll just start there then. Okay, so it's
but
very,
just be cognizant
very,
that we don't have a lot of time, so
I know. I won't ramble.
Everybody gets a chance.
Yeah, I won't ramble. We all know that I hate Anna. It's just very, very apparent. And I think what you said this in the episode, John, that's like, or someone did, that like, dude, don't speak, because obviously like that's what your lawyer's for, and anything that's said can be used against you. So what Luke said before they got in there with the judge to Anna could have honestly been used against him, because Anna probably would have opened her big mouth and said something. I think what Anna was saying, and on flip side, her too, she could have had that put against her too. But I think what Anna was saying beforehand was just so like rude and just downright wrong, because like when they were in with the judge and her saying that like he's never been stable with women and blah blah blah, it's like, dude. And then bringing up the fact that he hasn't always been there for April, it's like, well, no shit, like he only found out about her what, like not even a year ago, and it was even pulling teeth just to try to get to spend time with her because Anna is so anal about everything. And I just thought it was like really wrong of Anna and her lawyer, in fact, to say the things that they said about him, because he's everything that Lorelai said. And I just think it was really wrong of Anna to try to use that he's never been like stable and stuff like that against him, because it's not his fault that he hasn't been with her for the first 12 years. It's Anna, because she never told him, and that should never have been ammunition to use against him.
Yeah, that's my question. How many folks here think that she believed what she was saying about him, or that she was just saying it simply to increase her chances of winning the case?
She believed it. I think she.
You think she believes that he's a hermit, that he's a hermit,
Yeah.
that like he doesn't, that he's not a good influence on her? You think he really believes that?
Oh
No.
Partially. I think that she's saying that because she doesn't want to lose all the control, but she obviously, if she felt that way, she would have found another situation for when she had to leave for a couple of months. She wouldn't have left her with somebody that she thought was that awful and that incapable.
Totally. I mean, I that like that whole thing, like all of the stuff that the lawyer was saying, I interpreted all of that as, oh, that's just their fight. They're just really fighting that, and they're pulling out whatever they can, and that is just the bloodbath that is a court case sometimes, right? Like I didn't believe that Anna really believes that. Like even when she says to him, like, you really think you're gonna win, like it's like Anna just recognize that like that the perception of Luke is enough for her to win this case. That like what he looks like, that all of that stuff can be easily spun into weird reclusive guy who hasn't really been in her life. But I don't think she actually believes any of it. I think that she knows that Luke's a good guy, and she knows that he loves April, and she knows that April is really into him, and that is part of what makes what she's doing here so awful, because it then is really truly just a power thing.
Lee's been flashing.
Lee.
Yeah, I'll jump in. So I don't think she believed it. And I think the main reason that I don't believe she believed it is they brought up, oh, you haven't had long-term relationships. But relationships that Anna was privy to was his relationships to his family. She was there when he opened the diner, meaning she was there when his dad died. She saw firsthand how much his family meant to him, how much losing his family meant to him. So she saw exactly how strong his bonds could be and how much relationships meant to him. So she knew that, and yet was like, okay, well, how can we spin this guy into someone who's not committed? Okay, we'll bring up the fact that we had a quick divorce before. That'll do it.
Totally. And I'm curious, and then Carol, I see you flashing, but
And
I'm
also
curious.
Hannah too.
And who?
Hannah.
Oh, and Hannah. Sorry. So where did she get the thing about him leaving Lorelai? Did she just make that up, or do you think that's really how she perceives it? Is that how it's perceived? Do people think he broke up with her?
I think that people do sort of see him that way because he is such a rough exterior that anyone would think that he's the one to cause the problem. He can't let Lorelai in. But I think with April, I think she's pulling at strings, and I agree with both you and Lee that she, she's trying to find something. She's trying to convince herself that she is going to win. She is, it's her kid. She's been with her for her entire life, and nothing's going to stop that. And she barely knows Luke as a parent, and to throw all of his relationships and everything in his face when finding someone to be a partner with and your child are two different things, two different loves. And I think she was just grasping at anything to convince herself that she was going to win totally.
Yeah. Carol, you wanted to say something?
Yes. My opinion on that situation, especially with the out in the hallway before going into the hearing with Anna, she was pulling a Paris out in the hallway at Chilton before the speech tryouts, trying to get him rattled so that when they went inside to that hearing, she would be calm, cool, and collected, and he'd be a ball of nerves and all stressed out and mumbling under his breath and sweating.
Into the woods, into the woods.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or like the day
Yeah,
that,
I've always-
he went with Nicole to meet her parents, and that he lashed out because.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just want to say Lorelai's recommendation for him this time was much better than when I think of Luke Baines, I think nothing.
Yeah. Right. That is true.
Is there
Can
anyone
we
who hasn't
talk
gotten a
about
chance
that
to
letter?
speak?
Say again?
Sorry.
I was just asking if there's anyone up here who hasn't gotten a chance to speak yet that wants
John,
to
this is
chime
why I
in.
don't like Anna. That's all I got to say about.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm fully there. I'm
Do
on
you
with
feel the ick?
tonight? Yes, I do.
Finally.
I was gonna say, I think my favorite thing about that letter and the way they filmed it is that it told the story of like 5 characters at the same time.
Yeah.
It was Luke, it was Lorelai, it was Chris with his facial expressions, it was Rory's background, it was his involvement with April. Like that one letter just touched on so many characters, and I absolutely loved how it was filmed.
Same.
Which scene?
The letter
The
reading.
reading of the
No,
letter.
the letter reading. The letter reading is it's one of the best scenes in the whole series.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna say it. Like,
Yep.
however you feel about season 7, that scene alone just says so much in such a small, simple way. It's just masterful. I loved it.
And just like Lee said, when that judge was reading, her voice is just so calming,
her
and it's
voice.
just
Very
that
much.
it makes the letter seem so much more intimate. It's so
She
Hunter, in
literally
your
read it like it
job-
was ASMR. It was beautiful.
Hunter, in your job, do you get to see a lot of how these character references affect things, or is it not related to what you?
Yeah, when I'm doing family court, this comes up a lot. Yeah.
And do they really have that big of an impact?
Sometimes it depends on, I mean, maybe Rachel could say more if he's, an attorney, but like sometimes depending on the case and who they have, doing the character recommendations, it can. I mean, I'm thinking of one in particular. I remember like when I first started reporting and they had, character references from like, a senator, like it was a woman. She didn't really have, much money. She wasn't incomely, what is that? Financially stable, years ago. But she had gotten herself together and she had been volunteering a lot with, political campaigns and really brought her life around. And she had gotten recommendations from, a lot of people, I guess, influential. And it really did help her to show that she was stable and doing better than she had been doing before, because she had lost custody of her child and was trying to get it back.
Incomely is awesome. It sounds very It sounds very Shakespearean. Shakespeare would be proud. He made up all kinds of words. So
I make
I
up
like.
words too.
I love it.
Oh, guess what? Rachel's coming up to school us all.
Yes.
Tell us,
Yay.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Give us the knowledge, Rachel. Or maybe not.
Oh, no, I'm here. Sorry, it took me a minute. No, I used to do family law. That's why I became a lawyer at first. And I actually, I mean, these types of cases are common. I had several clients who were dads who, once the mom decides she wants to have custody, she starts to deprive the father. And so I feel in those cases, the character witnesses really were helpful, because when a judge sees that a mom has suddenly taken the child away from the father, well, all of a sudden you start to think, well, why? There has to be a reason. Is he abusive? Is he a bad influence in all these cases? So I think a character reference to say, no, this isn't the case at all, that he's actually a good guy, he's actually a dad, he wants to be involved, would really help that situation. So, I mean, these cases with Luke here really happen in real life. So I think that would have a lot of weight. I mean, it also, he's also a good guy. He has a job and he has his own place and all these other things that shows he's a good dad. But I think Lorelai's letter would definitely help him.
Yeah, he owns the building with the soda shop in it. I mean, come on.
Thanks, Rachel and Hunter.
He's a real
question that always bothers me when they're like, oh yeah, he works at a diner. I'm glad that he spoke up. I was like, no, I own the diner.
Yeah.
So
I have
for Hunter and Rachel, if Luke and Lorelai would have been in a relationship and she did that character reference, would it have had the same
Ooh, good question.
amount of weight?
That is
or
a
no?
really good question. You're gonna get some journals for that.
Hey.
Yeah, it definitely would have.
Could you repeat?
I'm sorry, will you repeat the question?
Would the letter have held the same kind of weight if it was coming from a current significant other, a girlfriend, spouse?
I would say, I think it's even better that they're not in a relationship.
That's what I
because when
wondered.
you have the spouse or the new girlfriend or the new fiance, whatever, I think that's kind of, is that a biased opinion or not?
That's what I was wondering.
Right.
Yeah,
and I
was
think the
just
fact
mentioning
that they have years of a friendship,
Before
and
the
the focus is on the friendship and how more of the relationship too with Luke and Rory, I think that speaks more. Like, well, I know when I had clients, if their girlfriend or, that's great, but I want someone who's been in your life for a long time. I want a friend, and, even not even a family member. I want someone who can really, now friends are not, they do have some bias, but I think it just kind of is a more neutral opinion than a girlfriend, a dad, a mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Even if
straight would consider that a conflict of interest.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering, because I was like, it makes me look at this whole situation a little bit better now. Like I said, I don't know what Amy's plans would have been, but if Luke and Lorelai had still been in a relationship, how would that situation turned out? That's what I was wondering.
I think it might even be better because they are broken up. Like they were
Right.
obviously engaged and broke up, but they're still friendly enough, and she would still write this for him despite that. So,
Cool. That's why I was just curious.
I thought that would be the case too.
I think it's a great look when even your ex says that you're a good person, because if your ex still has something good to say about you, it means you're probably a really good person.
Oh yeah, and the fact that not even the fact that they're an ex and she still really highly regards him. The fact that even if they were together, not only would have been together and engaged and almost married, they would have also had that additional 10 years on top of that. Not only just being boyfriend and girlfriend, they would have had, we've been boyfriend and girlfriend for 2 years probably at this point. but also have known each other since Rory was 11. And so, in my opinion, I honestly think that it wouldn't have, her letter wouldn't have been any different. And I think would have even helped him even more.
They
That's
usually
my
don't.
opinion.
Yeah, but they usually don't let significant others write reference letters just because it
True.
is, like someone said, a conflict of interest. It just gets muddy.
True.
Well, and
Isn't that
especially
like similarly you
for a
can't-
male too, because I think courts want to be careful that, you know, it's Luke who wants the relationship with his daughter. I think last night we were talking about how, if, you know, maybe one of the reasons, and I can't remember who said this, but maybe one of the reasons Luke was not letting Lorelai in at the beginning because he wanted to form that relationship. And I slept on it and I thought about it and I thought that is a really good point, because it's so important that he gets to know her and just them two and establish that relationship before the girlfriend, because I've seen so many times where girlfriends influence the dad or influence that relationship for better or worse. And I thought, wow, that's kind of making me look at Luke's behavior differently.
I said that, but I got it from somebody else. Somebody else actually was the person who had me like considering the same thing. I just brought it up yesterday, but that was something that we talked about back when we were first seeing it, like when that was his reason. It feels like his reason started to or we started to feel like it shifted later, but early on he specifically said that he didn't want her coming. He didn't want her there because he was saying that she would kind of steal. It sounded like he was saying she would kind of steal the show in a way. And I that makes sense to me, actually, that he would want to have that special thing. I think it's actually really insightful of Luke to even understand that he needs that. I don't know if a lot of men would even recognize that.
Wow, you guys have been busy. I just opened my Facebook Messenger and the Remarcus chatter says I have 217 unread messages.
Holy shit.
Well, should we shift over to...
Yes.
Christopher.
Should we move our discussion over to the main event?
Oh God. Yes. What are your thoughts, John?
Oh man, he was a hot mess, that guy.
Do you think he was acting like a 4-year-old?
He was just like a hot, stinky bag of garbage in this episode. Like gritting his teeth as he was reading that letter, and like.
So was Lorelai
pushing
right
the coffee
to keep
away?
her?
Pushing the coffee away, like, yeah, I mean, he was like a child.
Are we recording?
So
He was a big baby.
we
Yes,
are
we are.
recording, but we are recording. Try and keep the expletives to a minimum. I know that you're
He's a
dying to
stinky boy.
throw one in there, Zach. But if you could just keep them to a
Just
minimum.
Chris is a punk, and then I'll just
we know what words you want to
let you
use.
fill in. Yeah.
Oh,
He's
my
yeah.
Punk
Yeah, he
rat,
is.
Obviously has some issues that he needs to work out, and he's projecting that onto it. It stemmed like from a couple episodes ago, like where he wanted to have a baby to fix a relationship. People do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Soul
God.
searching.
I just think that and I said this during the episode, he's literally acting like a petulant 4-year-old, and I know 4-year-olds who can act better than him.
But-
and the fact, what?
No, I was gonna say, I get it. He is a baby in this episode, and there's so much. Can we play devil's advocate at
No,
all here?
no.
No, it's not possible.
Yes.
It's not
Yeah.
To be
possible.
fair, I did. I think
Well,
it's
I
possible.
Go for it.
Wait a
I
second,
would
wait a
like-
second, guys. Calm down. Calm down.
Challenge
I
accepted.
would like to give it a shot. I would like to give it a shot.
What are your thoughts?
I don't know if I can I don't know if I'll succeed, but I'd like to give it a shot.
Can I be on your team?
If you'd like. He is the rebound. He's a rebound.
Yep.
Yep.
And he's realizing it.
He's a full-fledged rebound.
And is that so bad?
And that is so painful.
He knew that though. He knew that coming in because she literally slept with Chris the same night that her and Luke broke up. So he knew that it was a rebound, and he went
He
for it anyway.
pretended not to know, though. He pretended not to know that.
He
wanted to be blind, but he knew he
was a
Oh, yeah.
long-term rebound.
Oh yeah.
Chris is just responding to a pattern set forth by Lorelai that she's been doing her whole life, and he has every right to be insecure and be cautious. Now,
Yep.
started a relationship with her, possibly not, but I mean, to say that his concerns aren't justified would be.
Yeah, I said during the
you
episode,
saying that?
I am in no way a Chris apologist, but like reading that letter that like your wife thinks of her ex as someone who's forever going to be in her life, it hurts.
We should make t-shirts that have like a t-shirt for a different one of the lame boyfriends, and it's just to say I'm not a, and then Digger apologist, Chris apologist.
I'll
We
get
can-
on
we
that
can make one
tomorrow.
for Dean and Chris for you. We can make it.
I'm not a Dean apologist. I'm not a Jess
And then
apologist.
alternatively,
I'm not a
I
Logan
am a Jess
apologist.
apologist.
Yes, we all are.
Yes.
Isn't it interesting that we don't have
I mean,
any
those
Lorelai?
I would love a shirt like that over a team whatever shirt. Like I feel like the team thing is just so it's just so 2007.
Can we get group
we are now we are now about not being
A
apologized.
drag is a drag, and that is a drag.
Okay.
So I'm an Emily apologist. I'm just gonna say it.
Can we go back?
Oh my
to
God,
your
can Chris
question
and I
there
get matching
about his?
t-shirts?
Wait, hold on one second. Mary, what were you asking?
So can we go back to your question there about like or your comments that he's the rebound?
Yeah,
he
he is.
knew that. He stood in front of her and said, "I'm here and I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna wait for you." So he knew, like when he came to her house and was gonna have coffee, and then he's like, "No, I can't have coffee." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" He told her right then. He
Yeah, I know.
was aware.
I know,
So
but
he can't be
what
upset
do
about
you
it
think?
now.
But what should she have said in that situation? Should she have said like, "Okay, that's cool"?
Yeah.
Like,
And she did.
really? I
She
know,
did
but
say
I'm saying if she's the rebound, why didn't she say, "Listen, I get it. I understand how you feel. I know that you love me, but here's the thing. You're a rebound, and you are saying that now, but pretty soon it's going to start to dig at you, and it's going to really hurt." And
But she said that to him in Paris. When
she didn't say it. She didn't say it
put
in those terms.
words.
She
But
didn't
when
put it
he
in
was
those
trying
words.
to get her to like move quicker the first time around, the first proposal, then they cut away and then he proposed again. She said to him, "Are you sure? It's too fast. It's too soon." So like I feel like he's putting blame on her as if he was blindsided, but he walked into that with his eyes wide open.
Amen.
And now he's
I don't-
pretending to be blindsided.
I think he pretended not to. I think he wanted to believe it was
I just
not.
think that Lorelai takes some blame in not shutting it down and not being like, "You are dumb." You're like, "You just do not get it. You are my rebound," and it is going to show itself over the course of the next years. And right now you're just in this like state of bliss, but pretty soon it's gonna just destroy us. So no, I will not marry you. No, I will not try and form a life with you.
But she was also in a state of bliss.
It's Paris.
Okay, well, but that's fine. But then,
So did she get
makes a
married
mistake.
just to
So then
get
she makes a
married?
mistake. So if he was in a state of bliss, that was a mistake for him to have been in. Then she also takes the blame for that as well, because ultimately, where we're at now is a guy who is not truly like loved in the way that he loves her by her, and you know, and is likely to, if he were to continue on, suffer even more. So I mean, that's a shitty situation to be in, pardon my French. That's and so if we go back and we say that was a mistake on his part because he was in bliss, then we also have to say it was a mistake on her part for even accepting it, even though she was in, and because she was in bliss.
Why did she get married then? When she told him it was too fast. Because I'm going to say it, and nobody likes my opinion, but she just wanted to be married.
Exactly. And
That's what
why
I say.
So many engagements. And I think Chris wanted so badly for it. So he may have went in with blinders on or eyes wide open, but he didn't want to admit to himself that he's that rebound. And now that things have gotten further along, he's like, Jesus, why couldn't I just call myself out on this before? This is what it is. And now I'm seeing it, reading this letter, hearing how she really truly feels. I'm an idiot.
I love one thing that I love is like when we get into a very specific part of a conversation that has like serious opinions, and then all of a sudden I see somebody want to come up onto the couch. This time it's Krista, who I know has an opinion. Krista?
Wait, I never got to finish my thought.
Zach Krista hasn't gotten to talk at all yet, though.
Okay, no ambush, guys. Damn.
It's okay. We're all good. We're all good. Krista, do you have something to say, or am I putting you on the spot and you are actually like,
no, I was going to point out, I didn't hear anybody mention this, but Christopher actually said to her, I thought I could handle being your second choice, but I can't. So he was fully aware that he was the rebound or the second choice. So he knew what he was going into.
Right.
He knew it.
He was also trying to convince himself that it would work. And now he's realizing it's truly not. He knew, but he was trying to deal with it and make it work and push through it. But now he's.
But I agree. I agree with you, Krista. I really do. I think he knew that he was the rebound, and he was just caught up in the excitement of this might be able to happen. This person who I've wanted my whole life is in a place where I can. I get that feels very manipulative, and people really have a problem with that. But I do think she bears some responsibility there, because she then allowed herself to be swept up in the bliss, even though she knows he's a rebound, like for sure. And that's only going to end the way that it has. Or I don't know if it's ended, but it feels like it's probably going to be ended here pretty soon. And so I sort of feel like that's just my only devil's advocate that I want to play here, which is that because I mean, it's hard to not see him as just the absolute worst in this episode. But if there's any devil's advocate to play here, it's that, like, why did you accept that marriage? Like, why did you do that?
Okay, Zach has been flashing.
Zach.
Can I part of my gentlewoman from Utah to finish her sentence, and then I would like to go?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Because I got interrupted and I wasn't even speaking that long. So where was I? Oh yeah, Chris was acting like a petulant 4-year-old, and what I was gonna say was the fact that like he knew exactly what he was getting into. Like when him and Lorelai got together, regardless of however they got together, they were together, and Chris knew what Lorelai was feeling. He knew that that Luke and Lorelai had broken up that night after the fact, and he knew what he was getting himself into. Like, he knew that Luke was probably going to be in her life forever because they live in Stars Hollow and she doesn't want to leave. And it's probably like, just because she doesn't want to leave doesn't mean it was because of Luke. Probably is, but doesn't mean it was. It could have been the fact that she loves her town and she loves the people that she sees, and she just loves being in a small town, and that's just her. And the fact that he's like sulking and being all pouty and whiny and all of that is like, dude, like, can you grow up? Like, you're a man, be one. And I just thought it was like so rude of him to like put her on the spot like that and not let her really have a say or speak about what happened, because yeah, like she could have told Christopher like about the letter, but Christopher would have had a reaction regardless of when he would have found out. That's just Christopher. Like he is very reactive instead of proactive. And I just think he could have acted better, and he was being all whiny, and I hate people like that. It's like, okay, you're upset. We get it. But there's a thing called talking things through instead of just flying off the handle when it comes to Luke. And especially with the coffee. It's like, dude, it's coffee. Just drink it. I'm good now.
That's a very good point. It is important to talk things through and not whine about it.
And it's important to drink coffee when it's in front of you.
Amen.
I mean, come on.
Good
Especially
coffee. Good
I mean,
coffee.
Serious.
So yeah, no, in the spirit of and Stephanie put something in the Facebook chatter that made me think of this. In the spirit of accepting the viewpoint, I hear a lot of Emily apologists, a lot of Chris apologists. We've talked about even Richard apologists. I've never heard someone say a Lorelai apologist. And is that because that she creates a lot of her own issues?
I'm a Lorelai apologist.
Well, you're
too.
I'm kidding.
Same. With love.
It's the Gilmore Girls. You can be apologists for the Gilmore Girls. The show's about them, just like I'm an Emily.
Like I definitely don't think any of them are perfect, but I definitely apologize for her.
Once again, devil's advocate. It's just something I've noticed. We talk about
I'm very sorry, everybody, for Lorelai's behavior in this episode.
I'm gonna make a whole range of T-shirts for every character in the show now.
I'm pretty sure I will be a Lorelai apologist, labeled a Lorelai apologist, and I'll accept that badge.
Make sure you stop.
I'm not a Logan apologist, because everybody has reasons why Logan does everything.
Oh yeah,
they also okay.
Pardon me.
I'll own that one too, Jessica. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, just getting back to the Christopher, if we want to just revisit some of the worst moments in the episode, it's part of what made that letter reading scene so awesome, because you watched these two men like having totally different experiences with Lorelai through this letter that she that wasn't even being read by Lorelai. And well, I mean, he was hearing it as Lorelai, but just the shaking his head and gritting his teeth just was awful. I mean, it was for me pretty close to me ready to go there, Regina. Like I felt like I might be ready to go there.
I've been shooting like 7 seasons, so
welcome to the fold, John.
Are we ready for it?
Yeah. Do you want to say it at the same time, John?
One of us. One of us.
2,
3.
Basura.
Can we not scream, please?
Welcome.
I mean, I still feel very, very. I still have a lot of like feelings of like I feel very bad for that guy. But he is just in rare form in this episode. And then and that's another thing, is like getting drunk in your own house, before. I mean, that's just.
Wait,
wow.
why did he get
who's
about that? We got issues with drinking at home, because we got some problems then.
You know who's gonna get the
Well,
worst
no, not
deal
just
there,
like no, just getting angry drunk, like drink like opening a bottle of whiskey and like I'm getting drunk, so that I can like really get that liquid courage for when Lorelai gets home. That's how it felt.
Was he drinking? I didn't even see anything.
Oh no, believe
He
me,
had
I
a
have no
glass of
problem.
whiskey in front of him at the table, but it was half full.
I have a bit of a
they
thing
don't
about the
acknowledge it at all.
But But he did seem like he had been drinking a lot. He was like, I read the letter. Well, maybe it wasn't that bad, but it was a little like, I read the letter. He seemed drunk.
I was gonna say they don't acknowledge it.
He
at
might have
all,
been.
but the one
He
person
probably
who gets the worst, who's gonna get the worst treatment in all of this, is Gigi. She went to Paris. She came home to a new house. Now she's gonna move out of the new house. Like her life in the last year has been, or is been the most unstable, constant change.
Is she gonna move out of the new
Yeah,
house?
is she?
Oof, that's a really good question. Wow.
He said he was gonna get good with knowing he's her second. Is he gonna leave?
Oh my gosh. There's still more episodes, everyone.
Wait, there's more
point.
episodes? Oh yeah.
No.
Can we talk
Yes.
about the second time in the series that Rory has had to deal with being with Richard when he has a heart attack?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
How sad, right?
What's really like crazy about that is it seems like just the I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't say anymore.
It's
But
too hard to see considering like
yeah,
now that
that's what I was gonna say. But I don't want to spoil
Wait,
anything because obviously
you
like,
don't
we've
want to
got-
spoil anything for us?
No, I want to. No, Sheev. I don't want to spoil anything for Sheev. He's down in the audience.
Hey, Sheev.
Sorry, Dave.
No, I'm only thinking of Sheev. Like,
I mean,
that's,
love
that's
you.
my-
He grabbed his arm, so we do know that he had a heart attack.
Yeah.
It certainly appears that he was having one anyway at the very end there.
Yeah, it wasn't
She
the
called out,
first
somebody
time,
called
was it?
911.
Turned out not to be one.
Yeah.
That's the only
I'm
time
gonna-
I tear up in this episode. People were talking about
When
tearing
Richard
up
has a
with the
heart
letter.
attack?
Yeah, but hearing the panic in Rory with the black screen saying,
Yeah,
"Someone
she yells call out, somebody
911."
call 911.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
Oh, it
It,
was
like,
so well
gets
done.
me
Breaks my
every
heart
time.
every time.
That cut was excellent.
Oh yeah. And then the first time that like he went to the hospital, and obviously this was season 1, so she was just getting to know him. And when she just like sat there with her mother saying like, I was just getting to know him because she didn't want him obviously to die. And then now it's like, that's not only my teacher, that's my grandfather.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is that throughout this whole arc with Rory living with Emily and Richard and then leaving them and everything, they'd been kind of like there was that awkwardness and that distance between them. Like it kind of dissipated a bit after the Friday Night's All Right for Fighting in some sense, but it never really clears up until this episode where you see Rory and Richard having that moment. They really needed to have that moment in order to sort of reestablish, I think, all of that warmth and really add, weight to what was going to happen next.
Yeah, he was so sweet to her in what he.
Hey,
Hello, dog.
Get your dogs, John.
well, that was actually kind of scary. Like they ripped the earphones off of Babsy's head.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Everything okay?
Yeah. Hold
Yeah.
on 1 second.
Poor Babsy. Lily, I saw you flashing. Do you want to wait until John comes back, or do you want to share your thoughts?
I could have seriously ripped your head off.
Oh,
Is she okay?
What?
wait, you're supposed to be the headless one.
Head, right? Yeah.
They just like, yeah, they jumped over. They have a real door issue, our dogs, and they just jumped over and snagged the headphone cable and just ripped those things off your head.
Gosh.
You okay?
Like the time person, but it is like 30 minutes past 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of
So,
but Lily wanted
I'm-
to say something.
So, do we have another area that we want to chat about? Because I actually have to jump off as well.
I think
Was there a specific
Lily was about to say something.
Yeah, Lily was flashing for a bit.
Lily? Let's hear
I
it.
had it was from the past topic, so I feel kind of bad going back. But like the little thing about the whole letter, and I think someone mentioned the whole Sherry letter and all that. And it's kind of funny because Lorelai wasn't at all threatened by Chris's baby mama giving him a letter about their kid, but Chris is extremely threatened by Lorelai giving, who was essentially Rory's father because Chris wasn't, a letter to help him keep his kid. When really, there should be like Chris. I think the big thing for Chris was, oh, this man was here for my daughter for all these years, and now I'm jealous. So I'm gonna say you're in love with him because I have nothing else to say. I don't know. There's a big duality for that with me, like how the whole Sherry and Luke with the letter and everything. But that was basically my.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's and that letter thing happened this season, so that's that was planned. Like, definitely that was part of the writers. They set that up.
John, go find your wife's head and reattach it.
It's all right. She's fine now. Yeah, that was weird. All right, everybody. Well, that was a good time.
Yeah,
excellent.
We are as predicted, we're in the second half of the series, and it's very clear that part 2 of season 7 is on a new path. Lots of new things starting. Luke now has custody of April, and it looks like
partial custody.
Partial custody. So that's good. It means that we'll probably see April again, which will be nice. And we have something to work out with Lorelai and Christopher. I mean, I don't think that this is completely over. They still need to deal with some stuff. At the very least, he needs to move out, and Gigi, as everyone mentioned that. So,
and you
I mean, what
kernels.
I'm saying is that I do feel pretty confident that
they're still
we've
married.
got some juicy drama ahead of us.
I think you owe someone
tomorrow
100
night's
kernels
gonna
coming
be
up.
But wait,
tomorrow night's gonna be really.
So wait, so Hannah, I think that I just want to pay off. I just want to pay up. I like to be. I don't like to. I like to have my debts paid.
I think
so,
she left, John.
Oh, she gone?
Yeah,
she'll be.
She's
right
been
back.
gone for a minute. Yeah,
I'm
she's
sure
gone.
Alright.
if you just
But-
send it to her in the app,
But
she'll
I'm
You've given up on Anna,
I-
right?
I've given up. I don't really want to think about it anymore. She's gone. She's not in the series anymore. It's done. We're good. Like, they're not getting together. Definitely not after that.
But keep in mind that Chris, even when he wasn't in the series, was always around in the background. So Anna is April's mom. So she's always going to be in the background.
As a love interest?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
As a non-playing character.
If I end up paying and then I end up if I end up paying and then I end up winning, then I can just go into the database and take it back. I'm just kidding.
As someone with 5 dogs, I can hear the unrest in the background of you need to go do things.
Yeah.
Oh, there's just some paper being shredded or something. Okay, so I'll be back tomorrow.